Oh man, was really hoping they'd make it. A little too early though for my taste. Oh, everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if this is your third Katy Keene review. If you are unaware, I am reviewing every single episode in the first season of Katy Keene, the Riverdale spinoff. I apologize if I don't look my best. This is not my usual attire when I'm doing these videos. I literally just came from school. And another thing, I need to get a haircut. Like, this hairstyle is killing me, plus I don't know what's going on with my face. Just getting that all out of the way. Also, I apologize, I'm a little rustier than usual. I haven't done a What's on the Tube in a week since the last time, because literally with Rookie and Nancy Drew both on break, thankfully, we're all back next week, but I'll get to more on that in the end. So I apologize, I'm a little bit more rustier than usual, but yeah, so here we are, episode 3, well, chapter 3, if I want to be really specific. It's been a long week. These, like, when you're watching so many shows, it should be, like, usually, like, it'd be faster. It's still, like, it still takes a while, and I literally nearly forgot what the hell happened last week in Katy Keene, because it's not like my life was hectic or anything, it's just, like, it's monopolist, plus there's a lot of other shows that I have to remember and other things I have to do, so I forgot a little bit about what happened last time. Not to say the show isn't memorable or anything. It's just that I literally forgot that. I'm a human being. I'm allowed to forget sometimes. But anyway, baseline. Let's start off this episode. This chapter. I appreciate. I'm rusty, so I'm not trying to sound like a negative Nancy here. That's another show. I enjoyed this episode. I really did. This definitely pushed the characters in a different direction. And again, this is something that I love when shows do. When they do something different. Where, again, I'm not trying to compare this to any other show. And again, since I watch so many shows, I'm going to accidentally make comparisons there and then. For me, personally, I was instantly expecting the Katy and the KO thing to last maybe half the season of them trying to, like, make it work, and then eventually we get to that breakup, because I think from the pilot alone you get the sense it's like it's either going to go in two directions. Number one, these two are going to realize eventually that their dreams are going to put them on different paths, or the second thing is that they were going to somehow make it. Somehow, for all the trials and tribulations, and the fact that we got this already on the third episode, or the third chapter, out of, I'm assuming it's going to be a 22-episode season, is a little bit early, frankly. And I'm not making that like a negative thing. I mean, they could have definitely stretched this out maybe a few more episodes then, until they would have eventually hit that point where it's like, okay, we're just padding this out as we go. But I never really got a sense they were trying to pad this out. These were all natural steps one would have taken in this scenario, where we are dealing with a different interpretation of how young romance is. Where young romance is usually, they say yes to the proposal, and then they get to the wedding, and then everything kind of like more challenges are thrown their way of a young married couple. In this case, it was Katy, like, still being unsure about, did she want to marry KO. At the moment where we left things off in the last chapter was she still wants to be with KO, but she doesn't see the wedding thing as like as a plausible thing for her to be exploring right now in her point of her life. And I feel like that's also of a resonance of how a lot of young people and a lot of people take the romantic advice now. It's like, yeah, it's okay to date, it's okay to explore other options. Whatever path you decide to go on, it's just recommended, or at least better to wait till after you're at least 25, 26 before you even consider getting married, because you want to explore your young 20s. I mean, it's fine if you found someone that's amazing for you and that compliments you and it works out. That's totally fine. That's nothing against it. It's just that at least wait a while until you get more mature, till you're more fully developed before you even consider taking the step of marriage. And again, we don't know where age-wise these characters are. I know they're past college, so I'm assuming 23, 24, 22 to be the youngest side. So around that range. So to even consider thinking about marriage is still something out of the something way out there, especially even if you want to say, well, Katy's been together for 5 years already, but still, it's still a little bit out of the ordinary to say the least. But even with that being said, the way the writers were handling this was like, this is still a very weird stage where it's like, usually once you propose, it's usually a flat out rejection or a flat out yes. It's usually one of those two. The fact we got something in the middle of the road, it's like, I don't want to marry you, but I still want to be together with you. It definitely doesn't make the relationship on a solid footing. And that's where this chapter definitely explores with Katy and KO's relationship post-proposal. Where they're not planning for a wedding. They're not planning to do anything of the sort. They're still together, but in the sense of like, something is not right anymore. The relationship wasn't as firm as it was when we saw them in the pilot. And the feelings might still be there, but it's just the status is very much not where it should have been at that current juncture. Especially, it's Valentine's Day, and especially kind of horribly timed is that this came after the real life Valentine's Day. But you assume it's still... They still said it's a Friday for Valentine's Day, which ironically for us was a Friday this year, so... Whether or not, timeline-wise, we're taking place in 2024, I guess? If I have to... Isn't it every 4 years it repeats? I don't know. But anyway. So, back to my original point. So, let's dive in. Let's do the usual, like, subplot to subplot. Before we get there, we start off, rainy night, through the butchered recap. Katy's sewing a dress. It's Valentine's Day time. She wants to make this extra special. Well, she's giving a little bit more context where, like, when... her mom was alive. Her mom never dated. She was always focused on being a mom. So every Valentine's Day, Katy would, in retrospect, be her Valentine. And so with now her dating KO, it's definitely a bit of a different turn, so to speak. And especially following the proposal and following, moving in, Katy's trying to make this Valentine's Day even more special for KO. Because, let's be honest, KO's probably not living the best right now, to be honest. He basically isn't, since if you really think about it, again, I know, I understand everyone is different in how they process things. I get that. It's just, at least what I'm seeing is that KO proposed to the girl of his dreams, well, the woman of his dreams. She said no. And now he had to uproot. He moved, which is what he wanted to do, but not to Philly, but he had to move with his girlfriend, which for a lot of couples would be a great, a great follow-up to their relationship. But when, especially after you're coming off a failed proposal, it's not entirely the best thing for any man to deal with. And obviously, of course, I've said this in the last couple chapters, is that KO is a very different... He's doing the right things that a man should do, an honest man should do. He didn't overreact. He didn't fight with Katy. These were all very simple, like, maybe tense conversations, but they never escalated to the whole yelling matches that... a lot of couples on television seem to be getting to whenever they have an argument. So they were definitely bucking the trend there, but everything does have a boiling point, especially with the current status of the apartment, because now we have 4 people living in such a cramped apartment. It's not entirely the best place to be in right now, considering the fact that Josie just still moved. She's still the new girl in this apartment. She's still the new girl, period. And KO's now moving in, so it's like, it's definitely throwing out the rhythm here a bit. So I think from there, yeah, so they're still fine. Everything's fine until then. Katy is going to try and make to KO's next boxing match, which happens to be on Valentine's Day. And she has to get out of an event at Lacey's, so she can go, because she needs KO to have a win right now by her being there at the event. But, obviously considering how things are going with work right now, it's still not the very best place for Katy to be in right now. So, but I think from then on, now everyone's woken up, and we see Jorge, with his I never knew. Is it a hookup? Is it like a casual fling? I don't know what the definition is, but they're not boyfriend. They're not dating. They're just simply hooking up. And Jorge wants him to stay. He wants him to meet the friends, meet the group, the Golden Girls. Apparently, I guess that's what we're calling them, the group. You know what? This show wrote this out. Why not? We'll just call them the Golden Girls. I'm gonna go with that from now on. he's a lawyer, so he has like business stuff that he has work to do, so he can't really stay around. So it's becoming a running gag that they manage to meet at night. They do their thing, but it's never like a breakfast after because he has to go to work, which is understandable. But when it comes to something of this caliber, of we've been seeing each other for a long time, we're gaining feelings for each other, but we're not progressing to the next step yet. After so much time, it starts to weigh on like, is this worth the time? Even more so, but I think from then on we see. No, do we get the groups to come together yet? I don't think we're there yet. No, we're still in the morning. Everyone's getting ready for work. KO again, still being not being a negative disruption, but just being a disruption in the current status of the apartment. He's definitely like putting some stuff out of whack because we see a scene with Jorge shaving his legs, which I never seen before. I never seen a man shave his legs because I don't know, it's not something you put on TV or movie, at least for the stuff I watch. And so Katie and Kay are just making sure they're still good for Valentine's Day, and then Josie leaves already for the shop, and I think from there we can start splitting off. So let's go back to Pepper a little bit. So obviously from the last episode we saw Pepper is still dealing with being broke because she poured all of her money into this place. So she's got the place, but the issue is now with no source of income coming in. She's kind of strapped for cash, and since this place she's going to turn into her place in the near future, hopefully, it has to be ready for business. So she's still living there, and she needs a heater. She needs a heating unit, but she needs money for that, and she's broke, as we know already. So she doesn't go to the girls yet, the Golden Girls yet. She goes toward. She meets with a. No, wait. I'm really confused. I literally just finished this episode like an hour ago, and I already forgot everything. So that's the world we live in. Anyway, So no, I think from there we get her to see this usual business content. Her. We don't really know what she is. It turns out she's a sugar daddy. I don't know if it was like a sugar daddy, connector, or just like a lonely people looking for a woman to be with for Valentine's Day. I don't know which one it is. I think it's a sugar daddy, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so from then, she tries to convince her, like, not convince her, but like, hey, listen, I need some money. I need some quick cash coming in right now. Is there anyone available for Valentine's Day for an easy, like, I need cash right away? The lady, which has a very complex name I'm not even going to bother saying, she's kind of disappointed in Pepper because, like, she's thought by this point she'd be working with the big top rich people instead of, like, begging them for money. Well, not begging for you know what I mean. But Pepper has no choice because she's living there. She has to live there. She needs this place to start moving, to get more investors involved. But she needs the money. So we get a montage of her in a wig of, no offense, I think the worst wig I've ever seen on TV. I'm sorry, I'm being honest there. She's meeting with a bunch of older gentlemen who are rich, I presume. None of them are like really catching on to what she needs. Till the last guy was a more suave businessman, from what I can tell, and he agrees to like. Well, at first she's lying to him about being a college student and stuff, like, because I'm pretty sure, like, if a business owner's like trying to get swindled in a way to get money for a student, to get money for another business owner to make business, I don't think it would necessarily be in their best interest. But if they assume that, oh, she's a college student, she's in her last semester, she needs the money to pay for her last semester, I'm like, you know what, why not? I'll be nice. I'll be a saint. And I think from there, so he agrees, obviously, with the unspoken, clause of probably there has to be some sex involved. They don't really flat out say it, but it's very much like implied, like this is what he wants, and she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to go down that avenue. She wants to earn the money a different way. She doesn't want to have sex with him. So I think we cut back to no. There's a scene. There's an intersexual scene where we get with the group, and I can go back to that scene. So the Golden Girls are together after like one of the days. I'm sorry if I'm very all over the place. This isn't like the usual norm, but I'm trying to figure this out as I go. So forgive me. And KO, of course, being the disruption, was trying to cook them food, and he accidentally burns the oven, which included Jorge's wigs, and Jorge gets burned. And we got a nice romantic tension between him and one of the firefighters, but he's not really down for it because he still wants to go with his hookup for the nights. He wants to explore that potential avenue. Everyone's just talking about their lives, what's going on with them. KO's just awkwardly in the background. Katy wants him to fit in, but he's not really comfortable with them in terms of like the hangouts. I assume, I don't know. The conversation doesn't really flow well. So I think from there, so we cut back to Pepper formulating a plan to like, okay, how do I get the money from this guy but not have sex with him? So she gets a bright idea. Hey, the Lacey's event's tonight. And she's got this plan to meet the guy there and do something. So we're cutting around here, so I'll get back to what the hell's going on with the Lacey's event. Pepper meets the guy at Lacey's. She's like being the innocent, like, oh, I don't know what to do with all this money. It's like, this is all expensive stuff. He's trying to like pamper her before everything else, is to occur. So they buy everything. That's supposedly this guy's like, okay, I got us a room in a hotel. We get to overlook Central Park in the morning. It's not really looking so well for Pepper. She manages to weasel her way out of it, to take all the product, and then the next day she heads back to get a cash refund on these items. So she gets her $20,000, but then the Katy's rival of sorts sees her, spots her, kind of knows that something shady is up, and they allow her to leave with the money. But then she tells the cashier, hey, keep an eye out for this one. Keep an eye out. She's got to be a pain in the neck, doesn't she? And I think that's it. That's the end of Pepper's line for this episode. Let's come back to Josie. From last episode, of course, the Cabots took over the record store, so I guess the original owner's no longer there anymore. I guess he's kind of like moved on to like the next stage of his life, retirement, I'm assuming. So Josie's in charge of the shop. So she now works at the record shop. She's a donut employee, which I assume she has a job. So it's like, wait, so they just let her skip her shifts in the last episode, and they still have her? I don't get it. I don't get how business work in New York. Anyway, apologize. I had a long day today. Sorry about that. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Josie. So Josie's at the shop. She meets this other aspiring songwriter, and they had like this like, it kind of felt like a romantic vibe, but this was very much just a connection between fellow peers, and because she's struggling, she needs to. No. Before we get to that scene, she and Alex have sex in the shop. Yes. Why? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's the feeling like this is a new thing. They're back together, I presume, but she wants to record. When's the next recording session? But he's like, I want to make sure the next songs were recorded legit. So write me the next song. Give me something new, and then we'll head back to the studio. Obviously, he wants her to spend Valentine's Day with him, so she's down for it. So now, cutting back to the scene I was talking about. They're both down to like collaborate and help each other out with their respective songs, and to the point where Josie actually cancels plans with Alex to be able to be able to work with him on this. So I think then we cut back to the next day. They're having a great they had a great making music session. I don't say that sexually. They actually made music. Alex shows up, kind of like distraught, like, oh, she actually ditched me for another guy. Regardless if it's not, that wasn't the intention. And Alex kind of is a nice guy. He's not like exactly the proper etiquette in certain scenarios, but he actually is a nice guy. He actually brought dinner for her. So, and also, I was kind of finding a little suspicious that Alex didn't know that Josie was scheduled to work that night, I'm assuming. So, I mean, he owns the store, so, I'm sorry. Would he know the hours? I mean, he is the owner technically, so I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let's just bypass this a little bit. So they have a brief argument of sorts. Josie's trying to explain to him this wasn't like that. This was just like, I want to pursue my music. He can help me. He's a great songwriter. He actually gives him a demo of one of his songs. He actually takes it in the very like, I'm angry, but you know what? I'm a businessman. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna listen to it. And And then during one of the Golden Girls scene, she's kind of like still thinking about, hey, what should I do? Like, I really like the dude because I haven't had a sexual tension like this since Archie Andrews. And this is the point where it's like, the problem that, not the problem I have with spin-offs, but it's like, when a spin-off clearly directly makes it out of its way to reference the other show, at a certain point it becomes a little bit unbearable. It's like, I get it, you were on Riverdale. I get you have these adventures on Riverdale, but they're over now. And those people weren't there, so I know that, did they want to be there? Probably not. But like, okay, even like after a certain was like, okay, we get it. You're from Riverdale. It's a bad state. Even the next, we get 2 Riverdale references and literally the same scene. It's like, okay, I haven't had a sex like this since Archie Andrews. And then the next reference after that, it's like, it was, okay, if anything goes wrong with this guy that Jorge is trying to be with, we're gonna bury his body in Riverdale. No one ever finds his body. Which I get was a reference to an early season of Riverdale, but guess what? We get it, Josie. You're from Riverdale. We get it. But this isn't Riverdale anymore. This is Katy Keene. This is New York. We're not in Riverdale anymore. Anyway, back to the point of the matter. Where was I? Actually, like Alex and Alexandra, they have a meeting. They meet up in a limo. And this dumbass gives her the demo tape. Like, I would not trust this person at all. Like, again, another running gag. Camila Hyde playing a really good, like, you kind of like her, but you kind of don't like her type of person. Like, I don't trust Alexandra for anything. I really don't. She's a conniving businesswoman. She's definitely succeeding in her job. But Alex really likes the music, but he really likes Josie. And Alexandra makes the snide comment like, well, you are sleeping with your talent. That's problem number 1 you have. So the next day, we see them at the record store, and Josie's laying down the ground. Rose like, listen, I really like you, but I really want to focus on my music right now, and I need you to be a manager and not my boyfriend. And we kind of see them beginning their manager talent relationship as Josie's explaining him a song, and to kind of end up Josie's storyline for the episode, the guy comes back in, the songwriter comes back in, telling her, like, listen, we can't work together anymore because I got a job. I got a permanent contract with Cabot Entertainment. That's right. Alexandra took the credit for Alex's fine. Jesus Christ, this is not going to end well, is it? It's not going to end well. Like, it's great for him, but for Josie, it's like, she got rejected by Alexandra, and then this guy got accepted. So it kind of doesn't really paint a good scenario for anyone. On Jorge's front, it wasn't really that much progress, to be honest. Like, he's trying to, like, find someone, like, he wants to be with this hookup guy, but he's not really sure it's going to work out. They talk about it. It's like, listen, I want to be with you. Can you come to the Moxie's? I forgot the name of the bar area, the performance bar, whatever you want to call it. I'm just really sorry. I'm so sorry. This is very unprofessional. Where was I? Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, so we get to the night where Jorge wants to be Ginger to perform for this guy. He doesn't show up. Doesn't really paint very well. He does eventually show up at the apartment, but Jorge's like, you know what? If you can't make it for something that's important in my life, then there's no room for me in your life. So they kind of end off their fling. And the girls kind of go to the firefighter's house where Jorge gets the number of the firefighter that was interested in him when we saw them in the scene earlier with the fire. So Jorge's finally getting some real, like, that's a guy that actually wants to be with him, that actually wants to be out with him instead of the other guy. Because I understand some people, like, they're busy with work and stuff like that, so not everything can work out. I get that, but sometimes you have to keep an eye out on some of the more important things that you're missing. So back to the Katy stuff. Oh, God, I felt like I've went in circles, guys. I'm sorry. I feel a little lightheaded, and I have no drink. Like, I got no beer, I got no tea, I got no water on me, so I'm a little lightheaded. Sorry about that. On Katy's storyline, we had her and Lacey's, business as usual with everything's going on. I forgot the lady's name. Gloria. I forgot Gloria. Because Katy's scheduled to work the event, so she asked Gloria, can I get out? She approves it, but after she tells Katy, "Oh, we just got this whole line of designers that just RSVP for the event, and one of them is your idol. So, oh well, you can go hang out with KO. You're fine. You're good." And now Katy's like, "Oh, damn. I really want to do this event." So as a response to prepare herself for the inevitable disappointment, she buys KO a freaking punching bag. A full punching bag that they climb up the stairs with Josie. It's like, God, you guys need upper body strength. You really do. Anyway. So they lift it up, they're exhausted, and Katy and Josie have like an honest talk of like, "Listen, I get that you're with KO, you love him, you want to make him happy, but you're kind of putting bandages over a situation that kind of needs a proper solution, not just like you're putting bandages to the problem at hand instead of actually solving it." But Katy doesn't really doesn't really address that directly at that moment. So Katy shows KO the punching bag, kind of like as a lean in like, oh, he's happy, so he won't be as disappointed or as angry when I tell him that I have to ditch him for the event. Which he already groveled to Gloria about taking the event back so that she can work and, get to meet these designers. And she tells KO that, "Listen, I have to work this night. It's really important. I can't get off it." KO is fine with it. He's like, "You know what? Sure. It's fine. You go do your thing." I get KO's being very proper. He's being very mature. He's not like yelling or anything. He's being very, he's doing good. And I think from there, so we get to Lacey's, we get to the event, and, Katy's happy, KO's doing his boxing thing, and she's able to do her thing, and everything's fine, even though it's Valentine's Day. But before anything can continue, KO shows up at Lacey's to surprise Katy, but shocker to be, he's kind of already beaten up because, I kind of forgot if he won or not the match, but he's bleeding. He messes up one of the outfits, so Katy had to leave to go out and get that fixed ASAP. And then her rival shows up and tells him like, "Oh well, Katy had off. I don't know what she's doing here. I mean, I guess she wanted to stay, but who knows? She has a day off." So now KO was in the know of that. So KO heads up to talk to Katy. Katy kind of actually then broke honesty with him, and it's like, "Okay, yes, I want to be here. I want to meet these designers." And KO's kind of second questioning her, like, "You never lied to me before. Why are you lying to me now?" And Katy's admitting that between the proposal rejection and him just moving in, she kind of wanted to give him a win, but she didn't want to compromise her dream. And KO just leaves because he needed some space from her. And then we cut to the next day where they meet up and Katy has a solution. Like, "Listen, I know the apartment thing isn't really working out. So there's a sublet here from one of the Lacey's employees. She can rent it to us. We can move into our own place. We can still have that, next step in our relationship so we can get back on the track of marriage." But KO's too smart. He's realizing, like, Katy's doing too much, but she's not doing this for the right reason because he doesn't want her to move away from the apartment, from the friends, so far away from her place of business. It's not worth it, but Katy's trying her best to, she wants to make this work. She's trying, she's doing her best to kind of get things back to where they were before the proposal. But KO had to KO tells her, "Be honest. Like you always were before, be honest right now. Do you really want to do this? Do you really want to keep making sacrifices to make this work instead of fully pursuing your dream?" And Katy, for a moment, is like, "Yes, I want to make this work. I want to do this." And then eventually she says, "No. No, this is where I want to do, and this is where I have to be." And this was probably the sweetest breakup I ever saw on television. Because, like, usually breakups are like, "No, no, 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 it's over, it's done, no." But in this case, they kissed, and they mutually acknowledged that this had to happen so both of them could pursue their careers independently. And I think so we come back to work. She admits to Francois, like, it's over fully, it's done. And they have a hug. Katy comes back to the house after helping Jorge with the firefighters. And she finds KO's final Valentine's Day present for her on her bed, and she cries. And the monologue is that without KO in my life, who was practically the last piece of family I had left, will that will that finally mean, like, if something else happens in the near future, am I going to be broken? And that's kind of we end off this chapter. Kind of like a somber but yet questioning note of what lies in the future of everything going on, and that kind of wraps things up. Again, this was a really good episode. They really took things in a different direction than I was expecting. There's subletting expectations I have in a good way. This isn't like a negative thing, but it's like they're doing things differently, and I respect that. And Jorge taking a different step of like, there are guys out there who are willing to make this work or are able to make this work so he can be happy, at least in that romantic aspect of his life. Pepper's still smart, conniving in a good way, and she's definitely doing her best to make her dreams happen. Josie's starting to be a little bit more aware of like, this is what she has to do to make her career happen, even if that does mean making some restrictions or sacrifices. And Katie had to take a really big step in ending her first love relationship so she can get towards getting to her dream. Maybe that doesn't include KO. Now again, anything can change, because guess what? This is TV. Anything can change. But anyway, I think that's it. That was it for this chapter, and overall, 2 thumbs up in my books. And I think that's gonna do it for me, guys, tonight, because it's not late per se, but I am feeling a little bit tired. I'm sorry if I was yawning periodically. I've been up since 7 a.m. in the morning. It's already like 7 p.m. So I've already been up for 12 hours, so I apologize. Anyway, if you were unaware, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what else is coming up on What's on the Tube overall, we are back tomorrow. No, not tomorrow night. Well, when this is getting posted, it'll be tomorrow, but for me, it's still 2 more nights. The Rookie comes back. I'm excited. It's been a long 3 months. I missed The Rookie so much, and now we're back on Sunday night. I can't wait for that episode. It's definitely going to be a game changer. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go watch The Rookie. It's a great show. It's an amazing show. Probably one of the best TV shows I'm watching right now. And also coming back next week, Nancy Drew. So for once, I think for the first time since November, there was only a 4-week period. So hopefully we'll be getting more of this. We'll have we'll have the full 3 slots with the main priority shows back on the air. So happy. So Rookie and Nancy Drew will be back next week. So excited. Not to say we won't have one-off reviews. Not to say that that's still not going to happen. It's just that right now I'm not really watching anything of substance. I'm getting through things periodically, but it's not really something that I can make an episode of yet. Once the next break comes out for whatever one of these shows, I'll do something. But until then, we're fine for now. But if you are just here, you're just here for Katy Keene. I'll be back next Saturday for the next episode review. And yeah, so see you guys next Saturday either way. Again, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more episodes from What's on the Tube, and specifically our Katy Keene episode reviews, please subscribe to the channel. Please ring the bell for notifications when we have a new episode live. Like, favorite, share the video if you please. Follow us on all the social media feeds, including our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ActionXGames, and twitter.com/ActionX. I think I have that URL. Do I? I think I checked. Anyway, so see you guys next week. Peace out.